In the ancient texts of the Pali Canon, the mind is often compared to a wild, elephant powerful, dangerous, and capable of immense destruction if left untrained, yet gentle and immensely serviceable if tamed. We live in an era that is uniquely designed to fracture our attention and weaken our resolve. The modern world is a grand theater of distraction, a samsara of endless scrolling and dopamine loops that leaves us feeling exhausted, hollow, and reactive. True strength, the kind of strength that endures through tragedy and triumph alike, is not about physical force or aggressive dominance. It is about the quality of your awareness. It is about the structure of your internal reality. When we speak of a weak mind in the context of Dharma and modern neuroscience, we are not speaking of intelligence or capability. We are speaking of a lack of integration. We are speaking of a mind that is enslaved by its own conditioned patterns. Neuroscience tells us that neurons that fire together, wire together. Every thought you entertain, every reaction you indulge, is physically carving a highway in your brain. If you repeat habits of weakness, you are biologically engineering a fragile mind. But the inverse is also true. By applying the rigorous insights of Buddhist psychology known as Abhidharma, we can restructure the very architecture of our consciousness. We can transform a mind that is fragile like glass into a mind that is resilient like a diamond, what the ancients called the Vajra mind. Today, we are going to dissect the 10 specific cognitive distortions, the 10 habits that are currently draining your spiritual and mental vitality. We will not just list them, we will deconstruct the neurology behind them and offer the antidote from the perspective of high-level spiritual practice. This is your guide to exiting the loop of suffering and stepping into your sovereign power. Let us begin with the first fracture in the psyche, the addiction to the negative filter. The human brain is evolutionarily designed with a negativity bias. Thousands of years ago, noticing a tiger in the bushes was more important for survival than noticing a beautiful flower. However, in the modern world, this survival mechanism has become a malfunction. A negative mindset is merely a bad mood, it is a poisoned well. When you habitually focus on what is lacking, what is dangerous, or what is irritating, you are programming your reticular activating system, the part of your brain that filters reality, to show you only evidence of despair. You become trapped in a self-generated hell realm where kindness is suspicious and opportunity is invisible. In Buddhism, this is a violation of right view or samadhi. It is the fundamental error of seeing the world through the distortion of aversion. You are painting your reality with the colors of ash and decay. This weakens you because it severs your connection to hope and agency. If you believe the game is rigged, you will never play to win. The antidote here is not toxic positivity or pretending everything is perfect. The antidote is vipassana, or clear seeing. It is the practice of widening the lens. When a negative thought arises, do not fight it. Instead, observe it as a passing cloud in the vast sky of your awareness. Ask yourself, is this thought true, or is this just an old survival program running in the background? By shifting from the reactor to the observer, you reclaim the energy that was being leaked into despair. You begin to see the lotus blooming in the mud. This leads us directly into the second habit that drains your life forces, the viral loop of complaint. There is a profound difference between identifying a problem to solve it and complaining about a problem to feed it. Complaining is the verbalization of victimhood. Every time you complain about something you cannot change, you are engaging in a feedback loop that spikes your cortisol levels and physically shrinks the hippocampus, the part of the brain responsible for problem solving. It is a verbal virus. When you speak words of frustration without the intention of action, you are essentially watering the weeds in the garden of your mind. You are cementing the neural pathways of helplessness. The Dharma teaches us the concept of tathata, or suchness. This is the radical acceptance of reality as it is in this precise moment. This does not mean you are passive. It means you stop arguing with reality. If it is raining, complaining about the rain does not make you drier. It only makes you miserable and wet. The weak mind looks at the rain and creates a story of unfairness. The strong mind accepts the rain and builds a shelter. To break this habit, you must practice right speech. Before you voice a grievance, pause and ask, does speaking this serve a purpose? Does it lead to a solution? If the answer is no, hold your silence. In that silence, you will find a reservoir of power that was previously wasted on futile words. Transmute that frustration into action. Turn the energy of complaint into the fuel for construction. The third habit is a subtle form of self-sabotage, the stagnant pond of suppression. Many people confuse Stoicism with suppression. They believe that a strong mind feels nothing. This is a dangerous misconception. Not expressing your true thoughts, feelings, and creative impulses is akin to blocking the flow of a river. When water creates a dam, the pressure builds until it creates a catastrophic rupture. In the body, this unexpressed energy manifests as anxiety, psychosomatic illness, and a deep, crushing sense of fatigue. The throat chakra, or the center of expression, becomes blocked. You become a stranger to yourself, navigating the world through a mask that gets heavier every day. Authenticity is the bedrock of mental resilience. In the Buddhist tradition, truthfulness or satya is not just about not lying to others. It is about not lying to yourself. It is the courage to say, I am hurt, I am inspired, or I disagree. When you suppress your voice, you signal to your subconscious that your reality is not valid. This erodes your self-esteem from the inside out. To dismantle this habit, you must view expression as a biological necessity, like breathing. You must exhale your truth. This can be done through art, through honest conversation, or even through journaling. The medium matters less than the movement. Let the energy flow. A flowing river cleans itself. A stagnant pond breeds disease. Be the river. Now, we approach a habit that surrenders your sovereignty entirely, the puppet master, or blaming others. Blaming is the act of handing the remote control of your emotional state to a stranger. It is a defense mechanism used by the ego to avoid the pain of responsibility. If your unhappiness is someone else's fault, then you are innocent, but you are also powerless. You become a leaf blowing in the wind of other people's behaviors. This is the ultimate state of mental weakness because it positions you as a perpetual victim of circumstance. You are waiting for the world to apologize before you can be happy. You will be waiting forever. The law of karma is often misunderstood as cosmic punishment. In reality, karma simply means action. It implies that you are the architect of your destiny. Even if you did not cause the problem, It is your responsibility to craft the response. The monk does not blame the wind for blowing out his candle. He simply relights it and shields it with his hand. To break the chains of blame, you must embrace radical responsibility. This is the empowering realization that while you cannot control the events that happen to you, you have absolute dominion over how you interpret and respond to them. Forgiveness, then, is not a favor you do for the person who wronged you. It is the act of cutting the energetic cord that binds you to them. It is declaring that your peace is too valuable to be held hostage by the past. The fifth habit is the trap of the hungry ghost, fantasizing instead of visualizing. In Buddhist cosmology, the Preta or hungry ghost is a being with a tiny mouth and a giant stomach, perpetually craving but never satisfied. Fantasizing is the mental equivalent of this. It is the consumption of cheap dopamine. When you daydream about success without taking action, your brain releases a reward chemical that tricks you into feeling like you've achieved something. You get the high without the hunt. This weakens your drive because it satisfies the hunger that is necessary for motivation. You live in a palace of clouds while your physical reality crumbles. Visualization, or what the yogis call dharana concentration, is fundamentally different. Visualization is a blueprint. It is sharp, specific, and tied to mechanical action. It is seeing the path, not just the trophy. The strong mind uses imagination as a tool for rehearsal, preparing the nervous system for the challenges ahead. To shift from fantasy to visualization, you must anchor your dreams in the soil of the present. Do not just imagine the applause. Imagine the grueling hours of practice. Imagine the obstacles and how you will overcome them. This aligns your right intention with right action. You stop escaping reality and start sculpting it. This brings us to the sixth habit, the illusion of the solitary warrior, neglecting the web of connection. There is a myth in modern culture of the lone wolf, the idea that needing others is a weakness. This is biologically and spiritually false. Humans are herd animals. Our nervous systems are designed to co-regulate with others. Isolation triggers the brain's threat detection system. When you neglect your relationships, you are cutting yourself off from the Sangha, the community. A single ember, no matter how hot, will eventually go cold if removed from the fire. But together, many embers create a blaze that can withstand the wind. Thich Nhat Hanh coined the term interbeing. We do not exist independently, we are. Your strength is inextricably linked to the strength of your bonds. Neglecting relationships leads to a brittle mind, one that has no shock absorbers when life gets hard. The cultivation of metta, or loving kindness, is the practice of actively watering the roots of your social network. It requires time, presence, and vulnerability. It means putting down the phone and looking into someone's eyes. It means listening to understand, not just to reply. By investing in your relationships, you are building a fortress of shared resilience. You are creating a safety net that catches you when you fall. The seventh habit is the chaos of the wild horse, letting emotions rule you. Emotions are data, not directives. The weak mind treats every emotion as a command that must be obeyed immediately. If anger arises, it shouts. If fear arises, it runs. This reactivity makes you unpredictable and unstable. You become a slave to the fluctuating biochemistry of your body. In the Zen tradition, the mind is often compared to a mirror. The mirror reflects the fire, but the mirror does not burn. The mirror reflects the flood, but the mirror does not get wet. Emotional intelligence is the ability to widen the gap between stimulus and response. This is the sacred pause. When a strong emotion hits you, instead of reacting, you turn your attention inward and observe the physical sensation. Where do you feel it? Is it heat in the chest? Tightness in the throat? By observing the sensation, you decouple it from the narrative. You realize that I am angry is false. The truth is, I am experiencing a sensation of anger. This subtle shift is the difference between being swept away by the river and standing firmly on the bank, watching the water flow. You master the fire by letting it burn without adding more wood. The eighth habit is the futility of clenching the water, trying to control everything. Anxiety is often just a conspiracy theory about the future. It is the ego's desperate attempt to freeze time and dictate outcomes. We try to control people, events, and circumstances to feel safe. But life is fluid, it is impermanent, Annika. Trying to control reality is like trying to grab a handful of water. The tighter you squeeze, the more it slips through your fingers. This habit exhausts your mental resources because you are fighting against the fundamental law of the universe, entropy and change. The strong mind understands the paradox of surrender. Surrender is not giving up, it is giving over. It is recognizing the distinction between your circle of influence and the circle of concern. You can control your effort, your integrity, and your focus. You cannot control the result, the weather, or the opinions of others. By releasing your attachment to the outcome, you free up an immense amount of energy to focus on the process. You become like the bamboo, flexible, swaying with the wind, yet deeply rooted. The oak tree that resists the storm breaks, the bamboo that yields survives. Trust the flow of the river. Navigate it, but do not try to stop it. The ninth habit is the burden of the archaeologist of ash dwelling on the past. The past does not exist. It is a memory trace, a ghost in the neural circuits. Yet many of us spend our days living in a dead timeline. We replay old arguments, relive old failures, and nurse old wounds. This is akin to eating ashes and expecting to be nourished. Dwelling on the past anchors your identity to who you were, preventing you from becoming who you are. It creates a heavy depression, a sensation that the best days are behind you, or that your mistakes define you forever. The practice of mindfulness is the radical act of arriving in the now. The present moment is the only place where life actually happens. It is the only place where you have power. To break the addiction to the past, you must practice self-compassion and forgiveness. You must realize that the person you were back then did the best they could with the level of consciousness they had. Punishing yourself today for the ignorance of yesterday is a form of madness. Lay down the heavy sack of bones. Use the lessons as fertilizer, but do not live in the compost heap. Step into the fresh air of the present. This is where your power lives. Finally, the 10th habit is the house of mirrors, worrying about what others think. When you base your self-worth on the validation of others, you are building your house on sand. You are constantly shape-shifting, trying to fit into the distorted reflections of people who do not even know themselves. This fragments your psyche. You lose touch with your Buddha nature, your authentic core, because you are too busy performing for an audience that is mostly indifferent. The fear of judgment is a primal fear of exile, but in the modern world, it is a cage of your own making. To develop a diamond mind, you must cultivate equanimity upekkha. This is the ability to stand in the center of the storm, unaffected by praise or blame. When someone judges you, realize that they are not seeing you, they are projecting their own insecurities onto you. You are just the screen for their movie. Do not own their script. Define your own values. Walk your own path with such conviction that the noise of the crowd fades into the background. Your authenticity is your greatest protection. When you are truly yourself, you have nothing to hide and nothing to defend. The path to mental strength is not a destination, it is a daily practice of weeding and watering. It is the continuous choice to choose awareness over autopilot, responsibility over blame, and presence over distraction. It is a warrior's path, but the war is not against the world. The war is against your own illusions. By shedding these 10 habits, you are not just improving your life view, you are waking up. You are stepping out of the fog and into the clear light of wisdom. Start today. Pick one habit, observe it, and gently let it go. The diamond mind awaits.